Chosen one, I need you to sit down before you hear the rest of this. Not as a figure of speech. Actually find somewhere to sit, because what I have to tell you is not the kind of thing you receive standing up, braced and busy and half listening. Something is about to change in your life, and it is not a small adjustment. It is not a slightly better month. It is the kind of change that splits a life into a before and an after. The kind that you will one day point back to and say, that was the season everything turned. And the reason I am asking you to sit is that your spirit already knows this is true. And the body needs to be still to receive what the spirit already senses coming. You have felt it, have you not? For weeks now, maybe months, there has been a strange charge in the air around your life. A feeling that something is getting stronger. It's not on a calendar, and you can't explain it to someone without sounding stupid, but it's there. A low hum that goes along with your everyday life. Like the pressure dropping just before a storm breaks. That's not the same thing as anxiety. Your mind hasn't learned how to name this feeling of waiting yet. Your spirit can hear the steps of something big coming toward you. And the unease you're feeling is just the difference between what your spirit knows and what your eyes can see yet. That sound is a hum. Let me explain. This sound is heaven moving things around in your life before the new season starts. You may have noticed that things are changing lately. Changes in relationships. You didn't have to let old chapters end, but they did. A restlessness with the things that used to make you happy. People think that these interruptions are bad. They don't cause trouble. They are getting ready. You don't change the look of a room until you're putting something new in it. And the changes you've been upset about are the clearest sign that the change is not something you hope for someday. It is already moving. I need to be careful with you, because the change of words can scare someone who has been hurt by them before. A lot of you have learned to be ready for change, because in the past, it has nearly always meant losing something. After something good, something bad always happened. So, even good news makes you jump as you wait for the catch. Please listen to me. That's not what this change is. This isn't the slow erosion you're used to. This is the kind of change you've been praying for, but it's coming in a way that's so different from what you asked, for that you might not see it at first as the answer. If what I'm saying feels true to you, if you feel like your chest got tight with a hope you're almost afraid to hold, do one thing with me before we go any further. Talk about the words, I'm ready for big. Not because someone else's comment changes heaven, but because the sound of your hands saying, "Ready," will preach to the part of you that has been quietly getting ready for disappointment. You can tell your spirit that you are ready for something good to happen. This is the truth about such a big change. It doesn't show up like little changes do. Small changes let you know about them politely and give you time to get ready. For some, though, a big change that opens their whole life tends to come quickly, almost violently, after a long time when nothing seemed to be happening. The pattern of every big turn is that there is a long, quiet, and frustrating wait. And then there is a sudden shift that moves more in 1 week than in the 5 years before. If you felt like your last season was too slow or stuck, that doesn't mean that things won't change. The exact same set up always comes before the sudden turn. But I have to tell you the truth, because you came here for the truth, not just a good feeling that will go away tomorrow. Some people are right on the edge of the change they prayed for, but can't quite make the jump. The change comes, the door opens, and they miss it. It's not because they weren't worthy. There's a condition that keeps faithful people from seeing and getting what they've been waiting for. Later in this message, I'll tell you exactly what that condition is and what a group of researchers in New York found about it. What they found explains something that spiritually awake people have felt their whole lives, but never had a word for. Hold on to this one question for now. It's possible that the only thing stopping you from the change you can feel coming is not your faith or your readiness, but something inside you that can be fixed. Put that question on hold. We'll talk about it again, but first, you should know why this change is happening now, in this season, and not earlier. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. The timing is not random at all. So you know I'm talking about your life and not someone else's. Let me list some of the ways this season has been showing up. You've been having dreams that are heavier than usual. The kind that make you wake up with your heart racing, sure that they meant something, even though you can't figure out what it is. Up until now, the same words, numbers, and strange confirmations have kept coming up for you. It's stopped feeling like a coincidence. You have also felt a strong urge to get ready, an urge to make room, to simplify, to organize your home, even though you aren't sure why. That instinct is not a fluke. Some part of you is getting ready for someone to show up. The way someone cleans their house before a guest they can feel, but not see coming. Also, for some reason you can't explain, you've been more emotional than usual, easily moved, and close to tears. Don't feel bad about that. Just before you ask your heart to hold something big, it gets softer. Kindness you've felt is your spirit being softened, so it can receive a blessing without breaking. A hard heart can't handle big changes. In other words, the very sensitivity that has made these months feel raw is part of getting ready. You are being prepared in ways that make you feel weak, but they are exactly what someone who is about to go through a big change needs. Let me tell you why the change is happening now. Knowing the reason will put your mind at ease about something that has been bothering you for a long time. You may have asked yourself more than once why it didn't happen sooner, and why you had to wait years that felt pointless while the promise stayed just out of reach. I have an answer that will change the way you think about the whole wait. There was no way for the change to happen faster because you couldn't hold it yet. And a person is not blessed when change comes before they can hold it. It hurts them. Think about what someone who goes through a sudden total change has to do. It takes a skill that most people don't have until they've been through life and developed it. When you're 40, the promotion that would have tilled you when you were 30 is a blessing, because the years between then and now have made you strong enough to handle it without being corrupted or crushed by it. You would have done all the same things in the relationship you wanted years ago. It wasn't punishment to have to wait. The wait was for building work. Heaven was making you stronger so that you could handle the answer. Because an answer that kills you is not mercy, no matter how badly you wanted it. Here's the first thing I want you to really get. In every case, the length of your wait was based on how much change you had. Some people wait a short time to get ready for small things. People who are getting ready for something that will change their whole life and affect everyone they know are pushed and prepared for longer. If you have had to wait a long time and have been through a lot of formation, that does not mean you were missed. Think of it as a measurement of how big something is going to be. For a small house, you don't need a deep foundation. I want to change the way you think about your frustration too, because it's been destroying your faith. After seeing how slow the years were, you thought that maybe what you heard was not true. It's possible that the promise never came true. You might have made up the calling. But take note of this. You never lost the promise. It kept coming back, even after you tried 100 times to let it go. Holding on is not the same as being stubborn. When you stop giving a false promise food, it goes away. A real one won't leave, because it's rooted in something that God put in you that is impossible to pull out. You still believe, even though many people tried to convince otherwise. This is the best proof that the change is real and close. If that made you feel better, if you now see the slow years as a chance to learn instead of as proof that you failed, mark this moment. Talk about the phrase, "The wait was building me." That's a big realization. At that point, a person stops being angry about their past and starts respecting it. And once you accept that you have to wait, you can accept change without the anger that would have ruined it. The second thing is now here. This one frees you. You don't need to do anything to make the change that is coming happen. This is very big, so let it land. You have worked hard for years, pushing and straining to make the door open. You have worn yourself out trying to make something that was always going to be given to you. You are not getting the change because you worked hard. It is a coming together on heaven's timetable. It was never your job to force it. It was your job to be ready to get it when it came. That difference gives you a deep sense of rest, because it lets you stop straining and start getting ready to catch what is already coming your way. There is a catch, though, and it's this catch that most often gets faithful people into trouble. Being ready is not the same as putting in work. Even if you work hard, you might not be ready, because being ready is more about how you feel than how hard you work. If someone is working so hard that they are worn out, a change may come knocking, but they will ignore it because the part of them that sees and hears has been worn down to nothing by years of survival mode. This is the worst trap ever. The work you thought was getting you ready was actually making it harder for you to learn what you needed to learn. It's a whole new game after you see what I mean. Here's what happens to the person who strives. You feel split up inside. Part of you wants to move forward with hope, and part of you is afraid. And being split up like that for years makes it harder to see the answer when it comes. You might not feel anything when you're in the change you prayed for, because you are too tired to feel the part of you that was supposed to light up with happiness when you recognized someone. So the question isn't if things will change or not. It's coming. The question is whether you will be ready to step into it when it comes up by being present, clear, and focused. That is a question with a full answer, which I will give you before this message ends. You need to see what this change looks like first, though, so you know what you're getting ready for. I want to give you a third thing before we talk about the vision. It will protect you in the days to come. Usually, the resistance goes through the roof. Right before a big change like this can happen. Most of the time, the hardest part of the wait is the week before the turn. It looks like everything is going wrong at once. First, the doubts scream. It's almost too tempting to give up, and people give up on their breakthrough days before it happens, because they think the strong resistance means nothing is going to happen. Listen up, the resistance is not a stop sign, it's a birth pang. There is often one last contraction before the new thing is delivered. It feels like everything is falling apart. So, if these past few days have been especially hard, if just as you were beginning to feel hopeful, things seem to get worse, don't see that as a sign that the change has been cancelled. Instead, see it as a sign that the change is close. When someone isn't going anywhere, nothing fights back this hard. The opposition's strength is always related to how big of something it is trying to stop. You're not falling apart. You're just crossing a line, and lines are always guarded. Don't give up when the answer is right around the corner. Stand firm and keep your heart steady. I'm going to show you what's on the other side of this threshold now, because you deserve to see it clearly before you take the last steps toward it. To make the change from a vague feeling to something you can almost touch. Let me take you ahead to the next season. Think about a morning in the future. When you wake up, the weight is gone. You no longer feel the low dread that has been sitting on your chest for years. You forgot about it because it was there for so long. As you lie there in the quiet, you realize that you are not getting ready for the day. As long as you can remember, you haven't been excited about something in a long time. That one change, from fear to excitement, is so big that everyone around you will notice it before you can explain it. The change in your life will not stay in your mind. So let me show it to you. If you knocked on that door for years, it wouldn't move no matter how hard you pushed. Now, it opens almost by itself. The supply you couldn't figure out comes in a way you never would have thought of. Many times, the relationship chance or breakthrough you had almost given up on comes together in a single conversation. An unexpected yes, or a morning that changes the course of everything. When people say, "It happened so quickly," they mean this. It really is sudden. The change usually comes all at once after a long, slow wait. This is the third part, which heals you deeply. The change isn't just on the outside. It goes all the way to the wound at the heart of everything. Some parts of you have felt ignored, forgotten, and like everyone else was living their life, while you were living yours. Now they have an answer. You no longer feel like the one who got left behind. You start to feel like you were picked, seen, and, on purpose, a part of a good story. And the change inside you, from feeling forgotten to feeling chosen, is worth more than any single blessing from the outside, because it heals the way you see your whole life. This is the fourth phase, which makes the other three mean something. You are now a source because of the change. For so long, you've been the one who needs help, who prays for a breakthrough, who is just barely holding on. Through this turn, you become the person that other people come to. Your story gives someone who is still waiting hope. You take the change you got and give it to people who are still stuck where you used to be. You don't waste what you went through. Everything makes sense for the ministry of presence you were always meant to have. It's not just change that you get. You become a way for it to reach other people. Set that future in stone right now, because what you say starts to come true. Talk about the words. Everything is changing. Say them not like a beggar hoping, but like a chosen one, calling the promised season to come to you right now. What's about to happen to you has an old feel to it, because you're not the first person God has moved quickly after a long time of silence. Think about the man who had been sick for 38 years and was at the pool. He stayed in the same place for 38 years while other people moved toward their healing. In every way, his window was closed. His situation was the very definition of long-term. That same day, when he had no reason to expect anything, he met someone who changed everything in an instant. The man who hadn't walked in almost 40 years got up and took his own mat home. The change didn't happen slowly. After such a long wait, it came at him in an instant. That's how heaven works most of the time. Not slow progress. Quick turnaround. You've been to your own pool. While you were looking away, you saw other people walk into the very thing you had been waiting for, and you wondered if your window had quietly closed. Listen, how fast you turn has nothing to do with how long you have to wait. They were freed after 38 years of being stuck in one sentence. You don't have to wait years for things to change. The God who changes everything isn't limited by how long it seemed like nothing was changing. The turn can't be told from the wait. When it finally comes, the wait makes the turn even more clear. Let me tell you who you are becoming through this. You have not been forgotten. People who saw you struggle will have a hard time explaining what happened next to you, because your story is about to take a sharp turn. People will see that you can change and believe that they can too. That's why it's so big. It was never just about you. This kind of change is meant to be seen, to give hope to everyone in your circle who has been quietly losing theirs. The long wait doesn't mean the dream died, and you are about to become living proof of that. That proof will help more people than you can imagine. Let me now close the loop I started with. I told you that a group of researchers in New York had found something about the problem that keeps faithful people from getting the change they prayed for, and I promised to come back to it. This is why I waited until now. A solution is only useful when you fully understand the issue it seeks to solve. You now know what the shape is. You know what the broken and worn out state costs, and you've seen what the change can do. Now you're ready for the rest of it. I have to tell you the truth, though. This answer has been kept from truly faithful people for a very long time. It's not because heaven tried to hide it. It's because the answer is somewhere most spiritual people don't think to look. It doesn't come wrapped in religious language. The stuff comes from a lab. The most important thing, I will say, in this whole message is the link between what science has found and what your spirit has been begging for. Now, let me carefully build that bridge for you, because a change this big needs a person who is ready to hold it. in a lab in 1981, something was proven that most people in spiritual communities have never heard of. Researchers led by Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize for proving that the human brain is split into two parts, called hemispheres, that were designed to work together in sync. When all of them fire at the same time, researchers call it whole brain activation. You have all the abilities you need to fully understand and accept a big change when you're in that state. Being clear-headed, having intuition, feeling guided, and being able to see an open door before walking past it are all signs of this. Not only is that spiritual readiness you've been praying for, but it also has a measurable physical part. That part also has a name. This part will make you hold your breath. Researchers found that this synchronized whole brain state is the default for about 98% of young children. But by the time they are adults, less than 1% still do. You failed God, but the state doesn't go away. It wears away because the noise, screens, and constant state of survival in modern life pull the two halves apart over time. The state of being divided and worn out that I talked about earlier, the one that makes faithful people miss the change they prayed for, is real. It is a real thing that can be measured, and things that are physical can be fixed. Let me tell you about two people before I tell you what the repair is. A Californian woman had tried everything. She tried everything her community suggested: prayer, writing in a journal, and more. But she kept ending up in the same place. She believed what was said, but she couldn't feel what it meant. She said something got better after 10 days. A channel that had been closed off was opened up all of a sudden. It wasn't because she worked harder. The receiver had been fixed. Something similar was said by a man from Texas. He had kept everything together for everyone else while his own life was falling apart. For him, prayer felt like talking to a wall. The fog had been there for 2 weeks straight, and he had stopped noticing it as fog. That's because of what neuroscientists in New York, led by Dr. Daniel Barron, made. The technology they used was clinical neural sync, which is a whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings. It took them years to compress and improve it until it was an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence, 24 hours a week, closed eyes and headphones on. That's the only thing that's needed. The smart switch is what they call it. It's not an app for meditation. This isn't a mood sound. It is a specific set of sounds that were created based on Dr. Sperry's Nobel Prize winning research to bring the two hemispheres back into sync and return the brain to the state it was in when you were a child. Not everyone can use the genius switch. It's for the chosen one who knows that God planned not only the change, but also the mind that needs to go through it. The person who has been honest for years, who has waited and believed, and refused to give up even when things didn't go their way, and who is finally ready to stop seeing their tired fog as a flaw in their character and start seeing it as something that has a specific address. Most people who hear this will scroll past because they are okay with their life being less bright for now. You're still here. That isn't a mistake. That is the exact kind of persistence that this was made for. It will surprise you how much it costs, so let me tell you. People who work with Dr. Barone told him that this was worth at least 500. Neurofeedback that is done in person costs 300 an hour. It can cost 7,000 for a home machine. It wasn't put out at 500, 200, or 100. At 49 it came out. Plus, today on the direct page, an extra 10 off brings the price down to 39. It comes with 4 free versions. A guided visualization from a well-known author, a grocery list that saves you 100 a month, a text from the 1800s on attracting provision, and a printable list of 5 daily habits. All of it comes with a money-back guarantee that doesn't matter what. Listen 80 times. It will give you back every penny. If it doesn't work for you like it has for over 18,000 other people. I really should be honest about one more thing. There is no guarantee that the 39 price will last past the page itself. It has been said by Dr. Barone and his team that the price will go up. That's not stress. That's just how things are. When people can't get clinical grade neurological restoration. One more thing that stands out. If you look on common platforms for something that sounds like this, you will find copies. The team looked into them and found that most of them didn't have any real neural sync. What makes the difference is the mechanism, which can only be found in what they built. The only source that has been checked is the direct page, which is where the link in the description and the pinned comment goes. Before you make any choices, read everything there. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say will keep your heart safe. The tool doesn't stand in for God. It doesn't take the place of obedience. It doesn't get the change for you. God is doing something in you that doesn't depend on any tool. In fact, a tool that heals the receiver just makes what God is doing more of what it was meant to do. If your spirit tells you something while I'm talking, don't try to argue it away. As a chosen one who won't stand on the edge of their breakthrough, half awake, talk about the words, I am ready to receive. Some of you may be starting to doubt, and I understand that. Let me answer that question. You've done things before. Sound files, apps, and practices that said they would help you hear clearly, and did for a few days before wearing off. I get how tired you are, but hear the difference. Most of what is sold only shows a small part of the whole and leaves the two halves just as separated as it found them. Dr. Barone's work is based on a layered protocol that was refined over years of clinical work. It works at the level of hemisphere synchronization, which is where the divided state starts. That is not the same mechanism, and different mechanisms lead to different kinds of results. This is another reason why your efforts never made it better. You can't get two parts to agree by working harder on them. It takes a few minutes at a time, but you gently retune them until clarity is the norm instead of the exception. The main idea behind this message is not a tool, though. God will bring this change once the receiver is finally clear. Let's go back to that now, because the most important part is still to come. For the chosen one who felt something stir when the mind was talked about earlier, that door is still open in the description and the comment that was pinned. It's only a small step, but big changes have come from small steps taken with a clear head. I will only point to that place. Everything left in this message is connected to something deeper, and it's time to go back to that. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. I want to talk about who you are right now, on the edge of this turning. You are not just sitting there and waiting for luck to come your way. You are a chosen one who was placed, prepared, and born at the right time for a change that was planned before you were born. Your life is not a mistake in any way. The family you were given, the injuries you got, and the long wait all helped you become someone who could handle such a big change without being destroyed by it. During the wait, you were not forgotten. You were getting ready to sit on the throne. You are also a turning point. In your family tree, there is a pattern of people who were close to making a breakthrough, getting better, or inheriting something. But the door shut one step too soon each time. What makes that pattern heavy for you is that it's part of your job to be the one who breaks it. This change doesn't end when it hits you. It goes both back and forward in time to save things your ancestors never saw and to bless children who haven't even been born yet. You are the link in a long line of people. That's why there has been so much resistance. You are proof that heaven doesn't treat normal people like they're nothing. You can't take the change that's coming your way as a private gift. It's getting ready for a testimony. People who have been following your life and have seen you struggle, wait, and almost give up are about to see you turn. And the way you turn will preach to them more clearly than any words. You are becoming proof. Proof that the wait does not mean that you have given up. Proof that the long period of silence was spent getting ready. Proof that the God who changes everything had not forgotten any of your tears. While you wait for your turn, let me give you something to carry with you into the everyday. Because revelation without practice fades by morning. Take a few minutes every day before the noise of the world gets to you to get back to a calm, focused state. The idea is the same whether you do it through stillness, breath, or the restoration I talked about earlier. When you wake up, you don't think about what could go wrong. To start, you clear the receiver so that if the change comes today, you can actually feel it. Most of the time, the people who miss their breakthrough are too busy to notice when it comes in. Don't be one of them. Start each day clear, present, and open, as if you expect good things to happen, instead of being afraid of what might go wrong. This second practice should be kept up. When the old fear comes back, the one that says things will never change, don't fight it harder, and don't let it decide what you do. Give it a name. Tell them straight out, this is just fog, not the truth. Fog says that nothing is changing. The truth says that everything is. Fear only controls you, while you believe it is telling you the truth. Naming it takes away its power. As soon as you realize that the noise is just static from a tired system, it stops being important, and you can make decisions from the calm, waiting center that was always there beneath the noise. Before we sign this, let me give you one last real story that will help you keep your faith. Someone had been waiting so long for things to change in their life that they had stopped praying for them to happen. Not because they were angry, but because they were tired. They chose not to expect anything because they didn't want to keep being let down. Then, at a time they didn't expect anything interesting to happen, things started to move. First one door, then another. In just a few months, the life they had given up was so completely different from what they remembered it to be. They stated, the strangest part was not that it happened, but how fast it happened once they were finally clear enough to step through the doors instead of walking past them. That is not an exclusion. That's exactly how a great change looks when it hits someone who is ready. Now, before we end, I want to show you something and have you do it with me. This is where the message stops being words and becomes an experience. Take it easy wherever you are. Do not hold yourself up. Take a slow breath in and out. Think of your life as a house that was quietly moved around while you slept. The rooms had a feel of being stuck in the past for years. Now, look at this picture and walk through the front door. Everything has been moved. Window you forgot about are letting in light. There was a door that was always locked, but now it's open. And you can see a room that was set up just for you and has everything you should have. Proceed to it. You should feel like it's real, strong, and yours. This is not a dream. Your spirit is telling you about the season you're about to see. Enter the room. For one breath, tell yourself that the change is already over. Now, slowly. Let me take you to the end of this message. The part where what you've seen is sealed in your mind. Take a deep breath of thanks. Not forced, just a quiet recognition that you made it through the long wait, that you kept believing, even when it didn't make sense to, that you are still here and open after everything tried to close you down. That kind of endurance is beautiful, and it should be praised above all else. Let me show you how to get free now. Gather all the things you came in with. The fear that you missed it, the anticipation of being let down, and the wariness of trying to push open a door that would always open itself, like sand in your hands. Open your hands and let it fall on this next breath. Let go of the striving. Let go of your anger about having to wait. Put out the version of your story where nothing changes. Let it all fall out of your hands and hit the ground. You'll feel lighter afterward. Rise into who you are from that lightness. Say it with me. You know that things are going to change, even if you don't say it out loud. I have not been forgotten. I am being put in place. The wait was worth it. It was making me stronger. It won't be long before things change. It's at the door, and I'm ready to receive everything that has been set out for me with open hands. Seal it where you can see it, if your whole heart agrees. Write your thoughts on the words, I get the change. That should be the last thing your doubt hears today. As a chosen one, who has stopped getting ready to lose everything and started getting ready to arrive. Listen to this last word over your life. Now is the end of the season when nothing happened. The long silence was never gone. Heaven takes a deep breath right before it moves quickly, and it's about to move. Open your hands, calm your heart, and sit down. What's coming is bigger than what you asked for, better than what you thought, and closer than you dared to believe. It's true that everything is going to change. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment, meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided e-books and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.